Check for sound. Check for power.
All systems online.
Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to episode 45. Dude, we made it. This is amazing. And it's all thanks to you guys and, of course, our great sponsor over at Shaker's Public House, where the Halloween party going down Friday, $500 costume contest. It's free to get in. Shaker's Public House in Worthington. The address and everything, I'm going to put it in the link below so you guys will find it. It's right there on Wilson Bridge Road. Very easy to find and easily the best wings in town. So costume mandatory. That's the only rules. So some big news for people that live in Columbus, Ohio, and people that love to travel to Columbus, Ohio for the loudest month in rock, which is May. They have announced the lineup and dates for Sonic Temple this year, May 14th through the 17th, live at historic Crew Stadium. We've heard some leaks, like My Chemical Romance will headline Thursday night, along with Pierce the Veil, All Time Low, Coheed and Cambria, Breaking Benjamin, Rise Against. You have Slaughter to Prevail that day, Dayseeker. I mean, it's going to be absolutely just a who's who, a murderer's row to kick off day number one. Fozzy also playing day number one, Hawthorne Heights, Red Jumpsuit Apparatus. I'm going to kind of go over some of the highlights here. I'm not going to name every band, but if you want to check it out, you can go in the section below, and I'll link to the Sonic Temple website. Danny Wimmer outdoing himself Friday, second day, Sonic Temple. Shinedown will be your headliner. Stained, Hailstorm, Stone Temple Pilots, Daughtry, Hinder, Buck Cherry, The Offspring, Sublime, Yellow Card, Newfound Glory. Shout out to my boys down in Coral Springs, man. Coral Springs, Easy Core represent. Everclear, Lit, Simple Plan, Story of the Year, Atreyu. Who else do we have here for Friday? Seven Dust, Static, Dope, Powerman 5000, Mushroom Head, Soil, and Flaw. And then on Saturday, you have Bring Me the Horizon, back to headline. They were set to play a set in 2019, and due to weather, they weren't able to, so they're back as headliners for the first time since 2019. Saturday night, Bring Me the Horizon, Good Charlotte, Motionless in White, Black Veil Brides, Bush, Marilyn Manson, The Plot in You, Alter Bridge, Tom Morello Solo. That's going to be kind of cool. Coal Chamber, All That Remains, The Story So Far, Mayday Parade, Architects, Amity Affliction, Body Count with Ice-T. That's going to be super dope. And Sepultura. Butcher Baby's also on that lineup as well on Saturday. And the final day for Sonic Temple, your headliner, Tool, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to be awesome. Godsmack, Lamb of God, Black Label Society, POD, Saliva, Avatar, Megadeth, Public Enemy, Amon Amarth, Anthrax, In Flames, Demon Hunter, Electric Callboy, Dance Gavin Dance, Census Fail, Amberlynn, First to Last, and who else can I tell? Apocalyptica is going to be on Sunday. So Devil Driver, welcome back to Sonic Temple. Like I said, it's going to be one hell of a show. 4 days, pure rock and roll. Danny Wimmer presents May 14th through the 17th, live at historic Crew Stadium. So that's not the only tour that's going on, guys. I mean, there's a bunch of other stuff that's happening. Believe it or not, the Run for Your Lives tour with Iron Maiden has been announced, and they will have dates all over the U.S. It's not just in Europe, so a lot of people were out there speculating what was going to happen with that, and we can rest assured that Iron Maiden will be coming to the U.S. Guns N' Roses also coming to the United States in 2026. They spent most of 25 overseas, so welcome those guys back. And Bon Jovi, who we thought with a lot of vocal injury and things were looking kind of grim there for a little while, but John and the guys, minus Richie Sambora, will be playing a stand. It's almost like a residency of sorts, but it's going to happen in New York City at Madison Square Garden, and that's going to be the only dates that Bon Jovi has right now. Sick New World was announced with like 150,000 bands. I mean, that's going to be another huge festival in 2026. We're going to get a brand new venue in Nashville, and if you haven't seen this, I'm going to put some of it up on the screen so you guys can check it out. It's a Live Nation venue called The Truth. And this venue, I mean, it looks absolutely awesome. And they say it's built specifically for songwriters, dreamers, and fans. It's going to hold like 4,400 people. they'll have, when you walk in, this room full of vinyl where you can just walk in, peruse, grab some vinyl. You can listen to it. They'll have an entire bar area with craft drinks that are set to the local Nashville scene. They'll also have a studio where they're going to do like old school letterpress, where whatever band you're seeing that night, you'll be able to get a set list. They call that the set list studio. So you can go down there and actually get a set list on letterpress, which is pretty freaking cool, man. Inside the venue, they'll have the lyric lobby as you're walking in. So whoever's on stage in whatever song they're performing, you'll see these columns, and on the columns, there's actual lyrics to the song that's going to be streaming down. I mean, this is a real state-of-the-art venue. And then when you actually get into the venue, which, like I was saying, holds about 4,400 people, it's going to be easily one of the premier venues in Nashville. So look for that coming very soon. And like I said, that's all brought to you by Live Nation. And it looks like this could take over as like one of those attractions that you actually just travel to come to Nashville to see us and check it out. The Truth. So coming in 2026. In just a minute, my buddy Damon Martin will be on to talk the top horror films on his list for Halloween 2025. He picked 10 amazing movies, and he's going to run those down for us coming up next.
Hear that? That's not just any siren. It's the sound of Wing Wednesday at Shaker's Public House. Every Wednesday, when the siren hits, the dollar wings drop. All day, no limits, just flavor. And don't miss Power Hour every single day from 5 to 6 p.m. Drafts, domestic beers, well liquor, and wine, just $1. When the siren sounds, you know where to go. Shaker's Public House, where happy hour hits hard and the wings hit harder.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome my buddy, my friend, the one and only from MMAfighting.com and the Fighter and Writer podcast. And of course, he's been a longtime collaborator with me. This is Damon Martin, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, bud?
How's everything?
Man, I'm good, dude. It's our season of the year, my friend.
Is it funny to you that we live in the same city and we hardly ever see each other?
I mean, it kind of bothers me a little bit. You know?
I do a podcast with Matt Brown, who obviously one of your closest friends as well. He lives 5 minutes from me. We talk on Zoom constantly. We never hardly ever see each other in person.
Man, we're gonna have to get you out of your horror cave over there, man. Like, because you're over there with all your action figures. You got all your stuff, and that's always my theory is you have too many cool toys at your house that it's hard to lure you out of the Damon Martin cave.
I movies and concerts. It's like the two times you get me out of the house. I go to a lot of movies. I go to a lot of concerts.
I'll tell you, band, I don't want to get sidetracked too much, but I just saw In This Moment, and opening up for them was The Funeral Portrait, which they were really great. And then another band that I've seen a couple times at festivals, but never at like a venue setting. Like this was at Promo West Live downtown Columbus. It was Dayseeker. And
I've seen them a couple of times. I actually saw them open for Bad Omens here in Columbus, and they opened for Beartooth when they did that show at the Shot back in January. That one night hometown show for Beartooth.
Yes.
They were one of the opening bands there. I like Days. They just had a new album drop too. So
yeah, they were really good, man. Speaking of Beartooth and Bad Omens going on tour together.
I'm so bummed they're not coming anywhere close to here though. I was like they're going to like Chicago and they're going to Toronto and a couple other places. I was like, I hope they do like a second leg of the tour because I just got tickets for 9 Inch Nails here in Columbus.
Oh, hell yeah. What is that, January?
It was February. I was going to go to the Cleveland show, but it was scheduled the same day as System of a Down in Chicago, and I went to Chicago to see System of a Down. And I was so bummed because I was like, I want to see 9 Inch Nails. They announced the second leg of the tour, and they're coming to Columbus, so I got tickets for that instead. So.
Yeah. Oh, you know who's on that Bad Omens Beartooth tour is that new band, President.
I like them a lot.
Dude, they're fucking cool, man. I'm really excited to see them live.
Yeah. I'm a big Ghost guy, so I like the whole, masks and, keeping everything mysterious, and I really like that band. So far, everything I've heard from them. I actually ordered their vinyl for their, EP that's dropping in, November. But, yeah, I like them a lot. I would love to go see that show because I love Beartooth, too, but just it's in the middle of winter, so it's like anywhere you go to, you're risking driving in like really crappy conditions. So I'm like, I'll just wait and hope they announce a second leg and they come a little closer.
Yeah, we might have to just say screw it and go to Chicago. We'll figure it out, man. All right. So what I asked you to do today was because aside from all of the MMA stuff that you do an incredible podcast on the side that's all about horror movies.
Yes.
And just
Rewind of the Living Dead. We actually just celebrated our 5-year anniversary this month. We launched basically right around Halloween in 2020. We were during the pandemic. My best buddy, Patrick Guerra, filmmaker, and we were friends for years through Comic-Con and also through MMA. He's a big MMA guy too. And we were friends, and I was like, you know what? Pandemic sucks. Like, we got time on our hands. Like, why don't we do a podcast talking horror? I would love to talk horror. And so we've done an episode a week every single week for the last 5 years. We've never taken a week off.
Hey, that's awesome.
And every episode is like a deep dive on one movie. So we just dropped our newest newest episode drops tomorrow on the movie Shelby Oaks, the new movie that just dropped in theaters. We did The Black Phone 2 last week. So like every episode is just one movie. We do a deep dive on it, both non-spoiler and spoilers. But yeah, literally our 5-year anniversary is like right now, and so we've been at it for a while now. So yeah, I'm a horror freak.
So we are in the week of Halloween 2025, and what I wanted you to do today, because I just need to do such a bang up job with this, is your list of the top horror films that people need to see before Halloween this year.
So I made a list of 10, and I didn't just pick favorites. I picked movies that like kind of cross a lot of different genres between like truly scary, fun, inventive, different films. So I made a list of 10, and I'll throw them out there. Now the first one's probably I'm going to get right away. You're going to get a lot of people saying they hate this and they hate the pick that I made, but I'm going to do it anyways. My first one is Rob Zombie's Halloween from 2007.
Oh, I love that movie. Yes.
The reason I picked that is because I think personally it's the scariest of all the Halloween movies. Like that Michael Myers is absolutely brutal. It's actually kind of gory, which a lot of the Halloween films, we watch a lot of the early Halloween films, there's like hardly any blood or anything. Like they're not that gory. They're not that gruesome. Rob Zombie's Halloween is the grittiest one. I love that movie. I know it's a very controversial take because people are, very, very in love with the original from 1978, and that is a classic. But Rob Zombie's Halloween, every year you got to watch it. It's brutal. I love it. It's one of my favorite films of all time.
And he's got a new record coming out too, man, called The Great Satan.
Yeah, the new track was it Punks and Demons or whatever. It's
yeah. No, it is really good. Yeah, I'm excited to hear that. All right, so that's a great way to start right there. Rob Zombie's Halloween. All right, what's number 2?
Number 2, Late Night with the Devil. This was my favorite horror film of last year. It is basically it's kind of like a mockumentary, kind of a found footage, but not really found footage. It's about a TV host who is trying to get ratings, and around Halloween he decides to host a live possession on his show, and things go horribly wrong. David Dastmalchian, who's a very well-known character actor, been around a lot of places, very creative, inventive script. Great acting, and it basically unravels as if you're watching an episode of a late night TV show, including like all the commercial breaks and stuff, and things go insane. It was like I said, it was my favorite horror film of last year. I love it, and it is a great film. So if you haven't seen Late Night with the Devil, it is a must see for around Halloween time.
Yeah, my girlfriend Jen, she suggested that last year, and I literally slept with my kitchen light on that night. I was like, dude, like, I don't get freaked out by movies very often, but that's a good one, man. That's a good one.
So number 3, I went with a movie called Hellfest. And Hellfest is a movie that's about these group of friends who go to a big, elaborate, basically a haunted house theme park. Like basically think of Disneyland, but all horror. And while they're there, a mass killer starts knocking people off left and right. Now, I had not seen this movie until a couple years ago, and I loved it. I was like, oh man, this is so much fun. It's a slasher, but it's inventive, it's new, it's different. And then literally had no idea, was reading the credits of the movie and found out that my friend, Blair Butler, who I've known for many, many years, she's a big MMA person. She used to work at G4. G4 back in the day, Attack of the Show.
Yeah.
She wrote it. She was the freaking writer of that movie. I had no idea. I loved it. And I was like, oh my, I reached out to her immediately. I was like, I can't believe it. I've never seen your movie. But she wrote it, and it's great. It's a fun slasher. It's just not as like popular, but Hellfest is a really fun one to watch, and it's actually pretty brutal and like I said, pretty creative for that genre.
Hellfest, yeah.
Okay. Number 4, The Dark and the Wicked. Now, this is a movie that is, I believe, currently streaming on Shudder. It's by a guy named Brian Bertino, who directed and wrote the original Strangers movie, the good one, not the god-awful remake they did a couple years ago. This is a movie about a brother and sister who return home to their family farm when their dad is dying, despite their mother basically telling him they don't need to come here, don't come home. When they get there, they realize why they shouldn't have come home. There's some really creepy, weird things going on this farm, and I mean this when I say it takes a lot to scare me. Like, I just don't really get scared by horror movies anymore because I love them, but I just don't get scared by them. The Dark and the Wicked freaked me the hell out. Like, it was one of the rare times where I'm like, yep, got to turn the lights on.
Without giving away too much. Without giving away too much, like, what was one of the parts that really put you on your heels?
There's a part where, like, because it kind of blurs the line between reality and like what is actually in your vision, kind of thing. Okay. And there's a moment where a preacher who is like basically like more or less like, you know, giving last rites to their father shows up in the middle of the night, and he just stands outside the home, and they're like, "What is he doing here?" And he just it real creepily he goes, "Come outside." And it's just this really, really creepy. And obviously you realize pretty quickly, like, there's something else going on here with this preacher. It's just a creepy, dark movie. And it's one of those, like, it's isolated horror. So it all takes place on this farmhouse, and it's super creepy, and it's actually scary. Like, it legitimately scared me. And I just don't get scared by horror films much anymore. So The Dark and the Wicked is one of the ones you need to watch. If you actually want to be scared at Halloween, The Dark and the Wicked is going to do the job.
All right, good. Yeah, I haven't seen that, so I'm definitely going to put that down.
Now, also for scary movies, and this is honestly probably one of the last ones that really, truly scared me years ago, a movie called Session 9. Mm-hmm. This is a movie about a group of asbestos workers who go into an old, abandoned, basically like an insane asylum to clean out the asbestos so the town can come in and like basically, you know, tear it apart and rebuild something new. And they win a bid and they go in there. And when they're inside the building, weird, creepy things start happening, as you tend to do when you're in a abandoned insane asylum. And one of the workers goes down the basement and he finds these tapes of a session of a woman who was getting basically, with her therapist. And it's going through, and you realize that all these weird, creepy things in this messaging from this tape. And it is scary as hell. Like I said, the first time I saw this was like a decade ago, but it literally got me to the point where like I couldn't watch it with the lights off. Like, it was so freaking scary. It's just it's really fun, but it is disturbing as hell. And it's just like, it's one of those movies that like creeps into your bones. Like, you will not be able to forget this movie when you see it. Session 9. I'm not sure if it's streaming. You might have to actually buy that one on buy it on like streaming or whatever, but like, worth your time. I promise you it's worth your money.
All right. Session 9. Yeah, that's another one I haven't seen.
Now, for Halloween season, I picked another movie called Dark Harvest. And this is a movie, I believe it's streaming on Amazon Prime, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you it's the greatest film ever made. It's not. But it takes place at Halloween. It takes place in a small town, basically like in the 60s, where the town's kids all get together around Halloween, and they basically hunt down and kill this Halloween creature. I guess it's called Sawtooth Jack. It's like a mysterious, like, mystical creature that comes out around Halloween, and it's almost like a rite of passage. The boys in this town have to stalk it down and kill it. Sounds weird, I know, but it's a really creative story, and what actually unravels throughout the movie is actually pretty cool. And you realize like there's some really nefarious things going on in the history of this town, and it's just a really fun movie. And like, I picked that one because I know most people haven't seen it, so. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say it's the greatest, most brilliant film you ever watched, but it's fun. It takes place during Halloween, and I just really enjoy it. So Dark Harvest is one. Like I said, I'm pretty sure that's streaming on Amazon Prime, so I would definitely recommend that one. Another scary one. Now, this is better known, and the reason I mention this is because now yearly they're doing this study where they release the scariest horror films every year, where they actually get like a group of people together. They stick heart monitors on them and they make them watch horror movies, and they pick out the ones that like affect people the most, where their heart rate jumps and things like that. And Sinister, which is by Scott Derrickson and written by C. Robert Cargill, the same guys who wrote The Black Phone and The Black Phone 2, which is currently in theaters right now. They wrote this years ago, starring Ethan Hawke, about a true crime writer who moves into a house to investigate a murder. And after he moves into the house, he gets this big box of videotapes, and it's basically showing these really, really gruesome murders that took place. And one of them, of course, took place at this house as well, which he failed to tell his family when they moved there. He did it on purpose, because he's trying to basically reignite his career. It is atmospheric. It is dreadful. It is scary as hell. And this is like basically every year they've done this study, Sinister has been no worse than number 2. Like it's been number 1 or number 2 every single year they've done this. And it's real. Like when I first heard about it, I was like, come on now, it can't be that good. I watched it. I was like, yep, it is that good. So Sinister is literally a scary movie. You should watch it. If you like being scared, that is the one to go with.
All right. Hell yeah.
Next up, I got to go with the classic. You probably can't see everything sitting behind me, but my favorite horror franchise of all time is Nightmare on Elm Street. They just recently released the Nightmare on Elm Street set on 4K. Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors. It's my favorite of the Nightmare on Elm Street series. It is the best, in my opinion, the best portrayal of Freddy Krueger. You got to go with the classic around Halloween, and Nightmare on Elm Street 3. While I do love the original is a classic. Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors is, like, to me, the best representation of the fun, just maniacal side of Freddy Krueger. So if you're looking for a classic, and it's going back a few years, Nightmare on Elm Street Dream Warriors is always on my list around Halloween. You got to watch it at least once.
Have you heard the rumor, and this might just be an Instagram thing that I saw, but there was I guess it was a meme. Anyway, it was on Instagram where it said that Jim Carrey may play Freddy Krueger in the next installment of Nightmare on Elm Street.
There was it's not actually happening because the movie rights are being tied up right now. Like Wes Craven, the original writer and director of Nightmare on Elm Street, his family got the rights to the movie back more recently after his death. And I think they're still shopping it around to figure out who's going to end up making or what they're going to do with it. So I did see that. And I think it was actually either Jim Carrey said it or somebody said it to him that he should do it. Okay. I think is what happened. So
yeah, I'll have to send this to you. Like what I saw on Instagram, I took like a screenshot of it and I'll put it up here on the screen so people can see it. I mean, he looks so perfect in the role.
Yeah, I know Robert Englund has talked about this because years ago he had said that he thought Kevin Bacon would be a really good choice to play Freddy.
That's
and I love Kevin Bacon, great actor. But more recently, Robert Englund's like, yeah, but he looks great, but Kevin Bacon's like in his late 60s or mid 60s or whatever, and he's like, if you're going to reinvent a franchise, you got to have somebody younger that can play the role for a couple decades, because that's why Robert Englund doesn't want to play Freddy anymore. He's like, I'm too old to play Freddy now. When he took the role in the 80s, I think he was like 35, 36, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard to justify like a 60-year-old guy playing Freddy now and then hoping he's going to be around to make sequels for the next 10, 15 years. So yes. I think they're going to go younger. Same with Jim Carrey. Not that Jim Carrey's an old guy, but like I think they're trying to like get someone who can play the role for the next 20 years is the idea.
Yeah, aesthetically it's no problem. I mean, the more wrinkles the better probably with Freddy, right?
Yeah, like my suggestion, which a lot of people may not know this name, but when I tell you the movie he's in, you'll get it. My suggestion for years has been a guy by the name of Caleb Landry Jones.
Okay.
He played the creepy brother in Get Out, the great Jordan Peele movie. The kid who knows jujitsu, and he comes in, he's like basically intimidating his sister's boyfriend. He's a really creepy dude. He's also a musician, actually.
Okay.
But he's just got to look to him. And he's like, I think he's like 37, 38. He's kind of like the same age range as Robert Englund. But when you look at him, look at Caleb Landry Jones.
Okay.
Look at him and tell me you couldn't see him in the Freddy makeup.
All right, man. I'm going to check that out. All right. So what is next on the list, bro?
So next up is a movie called Talk to Me.
Okay.
This was my favorite horror film from 3 years ago. And I'll be right up front and honest. We got to go to a premiere screening of this at San Diego Comic-Con that year, and we got in like we were credentialed as media. We got in at the very end because it was super crowded. Not everyone got in. Luckily, we did. We got in. We're literally in the last row. Like that's how far back we had to be to get in the screening. And we sit down, me and my partner Patrick Guerra, and we sit down and we look over, and the freaking director is sitting like there's like an open seat next to me, and then him. And I was like, this is going to be so awkward. This movie's terrible that I'm sitting here watching this movie and the director's sitting next to me. Movie's awesome. It's scary. It's the most inventive take on a possession film I've seen in years. It's a movie about this weird ceramic hand that when you grab it and say, talk to me, it takes you it basically possesses you with some sort of undead soul. And the undead soul speaks through you for like a minute until you break the connection.
Okay.
And obviously weird, creepy things happen because of what you're basically messing with the underworld, messing with dead people. But it's got to be one of the most original horror films I've seen in recent years. And the guys who made it, the Philippou brothers, they used to have a really popular YouTube channel called Raka Raka, and they made like comedy, like skit videos. And the one brother did influencer boxing, and the other brother does like extreme professional wrestling matches. Like they are like totally like they're just like great, and they're great guys. I interviewed them actually after the movie came out, and they're doing a sequel now, ironically called Talk to Me, which is kind of fun. But this is one of my favorite horror movies of the last like 5 or 6 years. So much fun. And like I said, if you're a fan of like The Exorcist or, any of the possession movies that are classics, Talk to Me kind of comes at it from a different direction, and it just gives you a totally new way in. Cause like every possession film is always about like, we got to call in a priest. It's got to be like this religious thing. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm saying like this just takes a totally different angle. So it's not like, oh, we got to call the priest to get him to come over and perform an exorcism. None of that.
Yeah, I think it was like, 2 years ago, my daughter Mackenzie and I, we went to see The Exorcist, the new one. Did you happen to see that one?
Yeah, it was awful.
Did you think so?
Movie.
Yeah, I didn't think it was awful. I thought it was, when you remake such a classic movie, it is really difficult. And, I thought there were moments in the possession parts of that movie that it seemed super legit. I don't know that if I really believe in any of that anyway, but like, I don't know. There was parts that kept me on the edge of my seat for sure.
Well, there is hope because they are doing a new exorcism movie with Mike Flanagan. Of course, Mike Flanagan, well known as The Haunting of Hill House, Midnight Mass, Dr. Sleep. He's doing the new Carrie TV series. He's like one of the most beloved horror filmmakers currently, and he is doing a new take on The Exorcist. I don't think it's going to be like a remake. I don't think it's going to be a direct sequel. I think he's just doing like his new take on it, but they're doing it for Blumhouse Universal, and I think that's going to be one of the most anticipated films when it comes out. So I had little faith in The Exorcist Believer because the guy who did that movie, David Gordon Green, also directed Halloween Ends, which is the worst horror movie of the past 100 years. So I didn't have a whole lot of faith in Exorcist Believer, but I got a lot of faith in Mike Flanagan. So yeah, I'll watch The Exorcist for Mike Flanagan.
All right. Wait, so I lost track on what number we're on here. What number are we?
We're on number 10 now, the last one.
Oh, this is it. Okay. All right, man.
Yeah.
Drum roll, please.
So my 10th and final film is a found footage film. Now, I know found footage is kind of a divisive segment for horror fans. Some people love it. Some people hate it. For me, I saw the Blair Witch Project in the theater when I was a kid, and it scared the piss out of me. Like, I didn't know if it was real. I didn't know if it was like, I thought everyone, if you remember that time period, like, people thought the Blair Witch Project happened.
No. But legitimately, like, people that are watching this, when I saw it in the theater, I legitimately 100% bought it. I mean, because that was the rumor at the time. There's no internet to tell you that it wasn't real.
Yeah, the marketing for that was brilliant. To put out missing posters. I mean, it was like the most brilliant marketing campaign ever. But really the Blair Witch Project was like such a formative film for me, and like horror, how much I loved that movie. And so there's a movie called Hell House LLC. The red VHS box you can probably see right over my shoulder is actually that VHS.
Okay. All right.
It's a movie about a group of people who are opening a new haunted attraction in New York, and they rent out this creepy old hotel called the Abaddon, and they're basically going in and fixing it up and trying to make it scary and like get it ready for Halloween season, like you would do for whatever, like any haunted house, that you go to for the year, like, Fear Columbus or whatever they have here in town.
Yeah.
And while they're there, weird things start happening. And there's legitimately a scene in this movie, and it's got creepy clowns too, which I know a lot of people are freaking out by clowns. There's a scene in this movie that like legit, like I'm not a big jump scare person, like, ooh, surprise me and I jump out of my seat. There was a scene in this movie that literally made my heart stop when I first saw it. I was like, oh my God, it freaked me out so bad when it happened. It is legitimately scary. Obviously, you're dealing with found footage. You're dealing with shaky cameras and people running around. So you got to be able to handle that. And I know not everyone can. But Hell House LLC is right there as far as like movies that actually scared me. There are like 4 sequels now. Hell House 2, 3, and then there's Hell House Origins, the Carmichael Manor, and they just came out with a new one called Hell House LLC Origins. They're all worth your time. The filmmaker, Stephen Cognetti, has been on my podcast a couple of times. Super good guy, really, really nice guy. And I'd kind of consider him a friend at this point. We've kind of, talked off air and stuff like that. But the original, and he knows this, I tell him every time we have him on the show, the original is literally one of the scariest movies I've seen in the last 10 years. And if you can handle found footage, if you like that kind of movie and you haven't seen Hell House LLC, run. That is like one of my favorite movies every year. And it's on streaming everywhere. I think it's on Prime. It's on Shudder. There is Hell House LLC, and there's also a director's cut, which has got like 2 or 3 extra minutes in it, but they're really no different. So Hell House LLC, 100% worth your time.
I love that, man. What a great list. You know, I was kind of surprised Midsummer wasn't on there, but that's fine.
You know, what's funny about Midsummer is that I hated it when I first saw it. I hated that movie. I thought it was too long.
It was really long,
it was too self-important. I just didn't enjoy it. But then we reviewed it on my podcast like a year and a half ago, and it was funny. I was like, oh, man, you're going to force me to sit through this like 3-hour-long movie that I hated. Watch it a second time, and I actually enjoyed it. So I think we're all capable of like growing and evolving in our movie tastes, and Midsommar was one of the ones like I didn't like it when I first saw it, but then I watched it on a second viewing. I was like, you know what? I kind of mess with this movie now. I kind of like it.
There's just so many uncomfortable scenes in that movie where you're just like, what? Like seeing that in the theater, especially, you know, the sex scene. I don't want to give it away too much, but there's a sex scene where they make this guy make love to this woman, or, you know, as much love that you could make in that situation in front of a bunch of other women. And I can't even imagine watching that in the theater.
Yeah, it's creepy. I remember years ago I saw Hereditary in the theater, and I was actually in Chicago for a UFC event, and it was like Friday night after weigh-ins were over, and I had nothing to do, and I was staying at Airbnb, and I was like, I'm going to go see a movie. And so I went to a little local theater in Chicago and saw Hereditary. And that movie scared the hell out of me the first time I saw it too. Like that, and that's Ari Aster, the same guy who made Midsommar. But yeah, that's another one. Like I didn't mention Hereditary just because it's so well known, but obviously that's also a great film.
And the Terrifier, of course, you know, Art the Clown owning the year 2025. I mean, it's got to be one of the most popular costumes this year for sure.
I've seen it. It's crazy how many people I've seen it. It's so funny because I remember when Terrifier 2 came out and it started getting buzz, and I went and saw it in the theater, and I was like, okay, I kind of get it. I understand, like, because I'm a story guy, and I'll be honest, there's not a whole lot of story in Terrifier.
Yeah.
But man, it's wild to see how big that's got. Like, they got the Universal Horror Nights with the Art the Clown House. Like,
dude, I heard it's so good too. I haven't made it down, and it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to, but that's like my biggest regret of 25 so far, is not being able to go down and see that, because I've talked to people that have been through, and they say it's incredible because they have one zone that's a wet zone and one zone that's a dry zone. I have no idea why you'd go through the dry zone, but they give you like an actual like universal raincoat to go through. I mean, that's how gnarly it gets.
Yeah, I had a couple of my horror friends from TikTok go, and they had a blast doing it, and yeah, like I love Terrifier. I just champion horror that like kind of comes out of nowhere, and I've had a chance to meet Damon Leone, the writer and director, and I met David Howard Thornton, who played Art the Clown. It's so funny, like when you go to like horror conventions or you meet the people in horror, like they're playing the scariest characters and creating the scariest movies on earth. But I've yet to have like a bad experience with a horror person. Like they're all so incredibly nice, so incredibly welcoming. You know, you just won't meet a nice, like, I know they do Horror Hound here in Ohio, down in Cincinnati every year. And it always astounds me, like, cause I worked in the music industry for a little while. I've been around entertainment. I work with fighters, and I don't think I've ever met a nicer group of people than people involved in horror. It's kind of crazy.
Well, hey, man, if I can just keep you for 1 second, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back, and I want to talk UFC 231. You know, this past weekend, what a debacle this event was for the UFC, and I want to see exactly what your thoughts are and where you think the heavyweight division goes from here. So we'll be right back with Damon Martin. This is The Loper Show.
Hear that? That's not just any siren. It's the sound of Wing Wednesday at Shaker's Public House. Every Wednesday, when the siren hits, the dollar wings drop. All day, no limits, just flavor. And don't miss Power Hour every single day from 5 to 6 p.m. Drafts, domestic beers, well liquor, and wine, just $1. When the siren sounds, you know where to go. Shaker's Public House, where happy hour hits hard and the wings hit harder.
All right, got my buddy Damon Martin from MMAfighting.com on the show right now. And before I let you go, man, I just wanted to get your thoughts. You know, we all gathered at 2 p.m. for the main card as the fights went down in Abu Dhabi this past weekend, which I don't know about you, man, and maybe we're getting older, but 2 p.m. start time was a perfect time for me.
It's funny.
thought it was
I tell
fantastic.
people I either want a early start time or a late start time. Either give me my whole day and I get to watch a fight at 10 p.m. or start at 2 o'clock. That way, at least I have my evening free. So one or the other.
It was also an Ohio State bye week, so that worked out well too.
It did actually. What's funny is the last 2 Ohio State games have played right before the UFC fight. So I've literally gotten up, watched Ohio State, destroy Illinois, destroy whoever, and then I get to watch the fight. So it's been kind of perfect. But yeah, UFC 231 was interesting. You know, it was 2 title fights at the top, but obviously the end of the main event kind of leaves a sour taste in your mouth. Tom Aspinall got eye poked in the first round. Fight ends in a no contest. However you paint it, it's going to be disappointing if you pay $80 to watch it or you got tickets to go see it in Abu Dhabi. No way to not be disappointed, but, unfortunately, that's just a sport. Bad things happen. I mean, I've been there when, Conor McGregor snapped his leg in a fight, when Anderson Silva snapped his leg in a fight. Like, clearly you don't want those kind of things to happen, but that's the sport.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I don't want to sidetrack, but on that Misfits boxing, is it Misfits or no? It's the Jake Paul card that's coming up, where he's taking on what's his name?
Chris Weidman, Anderson Silva. Oh yeah, Jake Paul's fighting Tank Davis.
Yeah, Tank Davis. Yeah, and then they announced Anderson Silva and Chris Weidman 3. What do you think about that fight?
I mean, listen, if you're going to do a fight like that, at least they're doing it right. Like, Chris is, I think, 41, 42. Anderson's like 48. I'm okay with that. I don't need to see Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. I'll be honest, I have zero actual interest in Jake Paul, Tank Davis. I'm going to watch it because it's my job to watch it, but I have no interest in that fight. It's such a freak show and doesn't do anything for me.
After the Tyson
whatever.
fight, it's so hard for me to watch it, but I'm such a sucker. I get sucked in each time. So back to the UFC in the heavyweight division with Tom Aspinall taking the shot to the eyes. This was like a knuckle deep finger strike. I mean, it was in both eyes too. It was almost like he needed the Three Stooges defense. You know what I'm saying? But Cyril Gane, I think, is an interesting story right now because we watched John Jones absolutely dog walk Cyril Gane in 30, 45 seconds. I mean, that fight was definitely under a minute, it seemed like. And then he comes out in this fight, and in the first 4 minutes, looks like he has corrected a lot of the holes that he had in his MMA game. Of course, an elite kickboxer, but Cyril Gane looked, for the most part, pretty good against Tom Aspinall at first. And then we just don't know how that was going to pan out. But with the eye pokes, do you think that he's more of a liability to the UFC at this point? Do you think he gets a rematch?
I think Dana White's already said they're going to book a rematch. They're going to do it as soon as Tom is healthy enough to do it. The thing with eye pokes, in that moment, like it sucks. And not every eye poke is the same. We've seen some eye pokes where it looks like a guy's literally getting gouged in the eye and he's perfectly fine. You see another guy get a little scrape and it just totally wrecks him. I don't blame Tom. It's not his fault. He didn't do anything wrong. He got eye poked and he couldn't see. And in that moment, he knew he couldn't continue. His vision was compromised, and it's the biggest fight. Anytime you're a champion, the next title defense is your biggest fight. Why mess around with that? Because here's the thing, and I mentioned this. I obviously, I do a podcast with our buddy Matt Brown. I mentioned this on the show with him. I said, if Tom goes out, I messed up, he continues to fight, and then 2 minutes later, Cyril Gane knocks him out cold.
Right.
We don't remember the eye poke. We remember he got knocked out cold. We don't think, you continued. That's on you.
Yeah.
But now we're blaming him because he stopped the fight for an eye poke. So it's kind of like a lose-lose situation with Tom. But
and we just saw that with Kevin Holland just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, he got absolutely field goal kicked in the groin,
Yes.
continued fighting, and lost.
Yeah.
And no one's going to go back when you look at the record and maybe you didn't watch the fight. All you're going to see is a loss on his record. You don't know the circumstances.
Right.
And so if Tom had gone out there and absolutely gotten head kick knocked out because he couldn't see on one side of his face, we're going to be talking about, man, Cyril Gane knocked out. Tom was overrated. He was never as good as we thought he was, blah, blah, blah. And we're going to forget about the eye poke. This was on Cyril Gane. I don't think Cyril Gane's a dirty fighter, but he committed a foul.
Yeah.
And listen, it's the nature of the beast. It sucks. I get it, but it happens.
Yeah. The other story, Mackenzie Dern taking the women's strawweight championship. And this is the first time I've ever seen this before, Damon. So the new rankings came out today. And in the women's strawweight division, do you know what I'm going to say?
Yes, I do.
It's the first time that I've ever seen a champion not ranked at the top of the division. The champion, Mackenzie Dern, is ranked second to Wei Li, who is ranked in first place in the strawweight division, which, I think that when it's time for Mackenzie Dern to fight Wei Li, I don't know that that's going to be the most competitive fight.
Well, so here's the thing. Zhang Weili is moving up to flyweight to fight Valentina Shevchenko November 15th, UFC 322. So she had to give up her title. The new way the UFC is doing this, which I actually really like, if you're going to move divisions and you're going to fight for a second belt, you got to give up your current belt. They don't want to hold up divisions. The Conor McGregor thing was cool, and we had it with Daniel Cormier and a couple other people, but basically the UFC has made a precedent now. If you're going to go up or down in weight to try to capture another championship, you got to give up your current belt. Islam Makhachev, who is arguably the number one pound-for-pound fighter in the world, they made him give up his lightweight title. He's going up to welterweight to fight Jack Della Maddalena. They did it to Zhang Weili as well. She gave up her title. Now she's going up to fight Valentina Shevchenko. But make no mistake about it, the best strawweight in mixed martial arts is Zhang Weili. No, I like Mackenzie Dern. She's a great fighter, sweet person, incredible jiu-jitsu career on top of that. But make no mistake about it, the number one strawweight in mixed martial arts is Zhang Weili. And maybe, like I said, if she loses to Valentina, she might be coming back down. And I'll say this kind of jokingly, but maybe not jokingly. Like if she was gonna fight Mackenzie Dern, Zhang Weili would be a 5-1 favorite. She would be a 5-1 favorite to win that fight.
For sure. Hey, man, thanks so much for spending some time today. Ladies and gentlemen, my buddy Damon Martin. You can find him online at Damon Martin. You can also check out his podcast, The Fighter and the Writer, with my boy Matt Brown. And, of course, your horror podcast,
Rewind of the Living Dead.
Rewind of the Living Dead, yes. Which is, I love the name of that, too. Hey, man, thanks so much for doing the show today. I really appreciate it. And let's get together in person soon.
I know. We're terrible about that. Yes, absolutely.
All right. Love you, buddy. Talk to you soon, man.